Good morning and welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morse out here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's time to rise and grind, people. It's time to get to work. Show us what you're made of. You know, it's interesting this morning as I'm coming out here, I don't come up with the topics. I don't think about them a week in advance. It's pretty much spur of the moment. It's what I'm dealing with, what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to talk about is basically what's happening in the office. This morning getting to work, once again, another Monday morning, we have about 10 people that did not show up today. So how does that affect us? How does it affect our jobs? And then on top of that, we've got about 8 people that between 4 superintendents, 2 project managers, and assistant project manager, they fired 8 people on Friday. And you might say, wow, what does that do to the business? What that does for us is we're now stuck in a position right now on a Monday where we're about 20 men short. 20 men short on a Monday. How do we deal with this? How do we go through the week? And for us, we're a large painting company, so we're able to adapt. We've got to bounce things around. Some jobs are going to have less people on it than what should be on there, but dealing with that, dealing with the situation to where now we've got general contractors and superintendents, we got to call and say, hey, we might not get done what we need to get done today, but we're going to do everything we can by the end of the week to make this possible. So it is a struggle. It is a grind every single day. On the same token, I think about it and I wouldn't trade this for anything. I love what I do. I love what's happening. I love the direction we're going. I love everywhere this business has taken me. Everything I do in my life, everything I have, everything that I've accomplished is all due to paint. The painting industry. There is a passion that I have with paint. Painting is a passion for me. And even though I don't paint anymore, I'm not in the field, I'm not actually out there physically doing the work. I did a few weeks ago. I got out there and I got to work with my people. It was quite a change for me. Realized I can still do it. I'm definitely out of shape. It was difficult. But the bottom line is I have a passion. You have to ask yourself, what is your passion? What are you looking for? What are you doing? Are you just showing up to work, waking up and like, oh God, another day. Time to join the rat race. Time to get out there. Time to do what I'm always doing. How do you change that? What is your mindset as you're going to work? Are you ready to get up, rise, and grind? That's kind of what I'm looking at today. How many guys out there are ready to get up and get out there and grind and do what we need to do? Do you have a passion for what you're doing? And if not, why are you doing it? I had a conversation with my brother. He works back in Illinois, and it's interesting to talk with him, the amount of work that's happening everywhere. And we're seeing it across the country. And we're not going to bring in red state, blue state. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's president. The work is still going to be there. The economy is still growing. Nothing is going to change. It just keeps building and getting bigger and stronger every day. But the workforce is a struggle for us. The workforce is a struggle finding guys that have a passion for what they want to do, get out there and enjoy what they do. One thing we do as a company, and we started here recently, every morning at 9 o'clock, we have a Zoom call with all our crew leads, project managers, superintendents. It's about a 10 to 15 minute Zoom call. And there's probably right now about, between 13 to 18 people that pop on there every day. It varies day to day who's available, who can get on there. The only thing we talk about as we go around to each person is, what was your win for yesterday? Not talking about anything negative, not talking about anything other than what was your win from yesterday? What went good at work? Now, today being a Monday morning, guess what? Some of us worked on the weekend, some did not. So for some people, their win could be something simple as got to go see my kids play Little League ball over the weekend. Maybe went shopping with the wife. Maybe it was, I just stayed home and relaxed and binge watched one of my favorite TV shows. Everybody's win is different. And then when it comes to work, coming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, now as we're talking about our wins, those wins start to reflect on business stuff. It starts to reflect on what you did the day before. What did you do yesterday that was your win? And this has helped our company, our people bond so much better and bigger. And you're starting to see how many people within the company really have a passion for what they're doing. They have a passion for our company, for their job, for their love of painting. There's just an enjoyment in this that has changed everybody's mood and their mindset within the business. It's interesting when I talk to some of the guys that work for me and the girls that work for me, and it's waking up and going to work. It's not a grind. It's not a chore. It's just they wake up ready to go, ready to get out there. There's that passion that they have for what they're doing, that they live for this. They live for coming to work and doing what they're doing. We had someone working for me recently that had a situation with their partner, and their partner was complaining about the direction they're going, all the hours they're putting in at work. But what they need to understand is, and what she explained to me, was that she's moving up in position. She sees a vision for herself, for her future with our company. And she sees the growth potential and the positive attitude and how everybody in our company, we're a big family. And that's how we want to build our company, as a family group. And we all help each other. We all work with each other. We're all doing the same thing together and trying to get better at our job. We all have a passion for what we're doing. We help each other find that passion. And for some people, it might not be the painting side of it, but their passion is to move up in position and become a superintendent or an estimator or a project manager. And it's difficult when you have a family member or somebody else in your life trying to pull you backwards. To move up in position, sometimes you have to give a lot of hours up front before you see the return. And we live in a day and age where everybody thinks they should be rewarded or paid for what they're doing right off the bat, even if you don't know what you're doing or how to do it. And I guess the message I want to give you is learn how to do it. Accept the fact that you're going to go in a position, you're not going to make the money that you're making yet. It will come. There is a sacrifice that has to be paid for this. And a sacrifice is time, it's energy, it's effort, it's sleep, it's changing your habits, changing when you wake up, when you go to sleep. If I'm moving up in position, I'm dealing with multiple jobs, multiple people, my phone's going to be ringing at odd hours. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice to move forward. How bad do you want to move forward? How bad do you want to make more money and be good at what you're doing? I want to make more money, but I want to be good at what I'm doing to be able to say I'm worth the money I'm getting. There's so many people out there that they think they're worth more than what they're getting. And I'm here to tell you, you're not. I'm here to tell you there's a lot of weak people out there that they're not ready to step up. They're not ready to rise and grind. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to step your levels up to get into that beast mode. It doesn't happen overnight. And it doesn't mean your boss saw something in you today. He's talking about moving you into a new position, that the money comes raining in right away. It doesn't work that way. With us, there's levels. There's certain levels that you have to hit to get to where you want to be. It's not given freely. It is not a handout. It's a hand up. You got to be willing to take it, and you got to be willing to work for it. And once you get it, you don't stop. You continually learn to get better. With me and my company, I want to build everybody up to my level. So what happens in a company like ours where everybody starts getting up to that next level? What do we do? What do we change? I have to look at myself internally. What am I doing? How am I going to change the level now? If I want everybody to get to my level and I want everybody to grow, in turn, I must raise my level. I must grow myself. I've got to raise myself to the next level. I've got to keep pushing that boundary farther and farther. I've got to add extra levels to everything I'm doing. I've got to get bigger. I got to get better. I got to get stronger. And once they hit that level, I got to push them to get to the next level. That's what's making our business grow. Right now, our business, we struggled the first 6 months of the year. We were in a hole. There were struggles. We were losing money. Jobs weren't going right. We took a step back. We changed things. And when I break it down to the last 3 to 4 months, we are 30% better than we were last year for this last 3 to 4 months. Now, we're still trying to get back to where we need to be. We're not where we should be. The money doesn't look great. It's getting better, but getting there is a process. And recognizing there's a change and we have to make that change and we have to grow from this. How do I level up? So I saw a problem. I leveled up. I made multiple changes within a company. We're making multiple level changes. We're pushing everybody to grow. And if you don't have that passion for what you're doing, you're not going to grow. You're going to become stagnant. You're going to be stuck at where you're at. And then you have a couple choices. You can complain about everybody else's problems. You can complain that nobody's watching what you're doing or everybody else gets credit for what you're doing. Things don't go the way you want it to. Or what you can do is take an inner look at yourself, look in the mirror and say, you know what? This morning, John, I'm going to do what I need to do to make John better. That's what I'm doing. What is John going to do today to be better today than he was yesterday? We talk about watering your own grass and everybody's going to, they think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Why don't we stop and grow ourselves? Why don't we stop and think about, wait a minute, it's you versus you. If you can take a look at yourself and grow yourself and grow to that next level and push yourself, good things will start to happen. I know it because I see it every single day in my own personal life and in my business life. Things are changing sometimes by the minute within our business and within my life. I don't have to answer the phone calls as much as I used to after hours and nights and weekends and evenings and early mornings. We've built layers and there's new people in positions that handle that stuff now for us, that we don't have to directly focus on that. The upper management, as we grow, we put different layers below us. There was a point, I didn't even have a project manager. Guys, hold on, because right now we're in the middle of a Zoom call and my guys are asking me to come on for a win.
All right, guys. So we're doing things a little bit different today. John Morris is on his podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and call on him right now. We're trying something different.
Good morning, PHP. How you guys doing? You guys are interrupting my podcast today, but that's freaking awesome. Today, we're talking about passion in painting. We're talking about progress and growth and how we grow ourselves in this business. Every Monday morning, I miss you guys at 9 o'clock because I'm always recording this podcast. I love being here with you guys, but today is a little bit different. My win, let me just do this real quick, was this weekend. I had a great weekend. I smoked my Thor's hammer on Saturday. I smoked my flat ribs on Sunday, and there's meat in the fridge at the office for all you guys sitting there watching. The other great thing this weekend, I had an opportunity to have Isaiah come out to the house. That was a win. We sat down, got to know him a lot better. So it was a good visit. Really enjoyed taking that time with you and getting to know you better. So thank you, guys. I'm going to mute myself out here and get back to my podcast. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, John. Isaiah?
So, hey, everybody. Good morning. I guess my win for the weekend was spending some time with John Morris. So I went to his house. We picked his brain on a lot of stuff, just kind of got to know him. But the main win was tasting that Thor's hammer.
It was John's meat.
It was smoked, you know what I mean? Man, the flavor on that thing was crazy, and there are no leftovers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a good time. Did some relaxing, a little bit of shopping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Micah?
My win was just being able to relax. I got to play, got to walk 18 holes yesterday, so it was nice playing at 7 o'clock in the morning and just getting some fresh air. And it's, the mornings have been beautiful lately, so been trying to take advantage of those on the weekends as much as possible. But that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
As we grow in our business, as we continue, we have to change. We have to learn to find something else within ourselves. Are we becoming stagnant? How do we know if we're getting stuck in a rut or stuck in a groove? I was sitting down with my business partner, Greg, this morning talking about, I feel like I'm working a lot more on the business right now than in the business. And the way I know that is my phone isn't constantly ringing after hours when I'm not at work. The other thing I notice is I'm sleeping a lot better. My anxiety's lower. My blood pressure's down. Slowly coming off the blood pressure meds and everything else I'm doing. I was told I'm going to be on those for the rest of my life. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to do things. I told my doctor to change my eating habits, the way I live, to create a less stress-free environment for myself. Work can be stressful, and it doesn't matter whether you're into field painting. It doesn't matter if you're brand new as a helper. Everything's stressful. We have to learn to deal with that stress a little bit different. We need to learn to water our own grass in our own yard. We need to focus on what we need to do to grow ourselves. So the question I'm going to ask you guys today is, what are you doing to help yourself get to the next level? What is your passion? Where is that passion? How do you find that if you don't have it where you're working at? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there today listening to this, and you're in a job that you just can't stand. You don't like. You're stuck in a place to where you how do I put this? You feel like you're not going anywhere. You're not getting anywhere in life. You've got to find a way to make that change. You've got to find a way to find that passion. And if it's a job you're doing you're not happy with, find something else. You know, talking with my brother, about the work that he has out there and what we have out here, and we are short the manpower. There is so much work, you can't not find a job. And it might not be the job that you want that you get out there, but learn from it, grow from it, and then move on. Get to the next place. We have a certain revolving door of employees. That's going to be a given. That's going to be there forever. I know it's going to be there forever. That's never going to change. That's part of just doing business. It's part of our lives as we grow as individuals even. And it's not to put down anybody that's bouncing from job to job. You at the same time are trying to find that perfect place where you can find that passion. I'm okay with that. There's some guys that come to our company, we are not a good fit for them. And they're not a good fit for us. And that's okay. That's where you keep looking till you find the right place. You find the home, you find the passion where you think you can be comfortable where you're working at. So start figuring out what you can do differently to find that passion. I believe we should all be doing something that we enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is. If you do what you love, if you find that passion, you'll make money at it. You'll grow in that. And maybe what you're doing you're not happy with, but maybe you haven't looked at it in the right light. Maybe you haven't looked at your current job situation and say, maybe I'm the one that's a problem. Maybe I'm not analyzing this the right way. How do I relook at my situation and reflect on what I can do different within my own workplace? It starts with you. Maybe where you're working at is a toxic environment and you're feeding into it as well because everybody else is. Maybe you're the one that changes that negativity into the positive situation to make it better for yourself. And then people start feeding off that. You've heard me say it before. Positivity breeds positivity. Negativity breeds negativity. We have to break out of that. You have to find a way to make things go the right direction. So what are you going to do today to change that? For me, coming to work, one of my workers came in late this morning and goes, I need to talk to you when you get a minute. And he texted our main CRM program where everybody clocks in and out and that he was running a bit late. He'd explain when he got here. Turned out his dog wasn't feeling well. That's okay. He was kind of in a bad situation, not sure what to do. And also going to leave work today early to go give his dog the medication that it needs. And so I told him, and this guy's fairly new, been with us a couple months. He's an estimator. And I told him, well, bring your dog to work tomorrow. He goes, I can do that? Yeah, if you would have called me over the weekend, I would have told you to. And it would have made it easier. So the bottom line comes to, you've got to make changes. And how do you know something's going to work if you don't ask? How do you know if something's going to work if you don't put it into action? If you ask, you might get the right answer you want. If you ask people for help, the help is out there. Some of us don't know how to ask for help. We don't know how to ask the right questions. So we need to learn to ask the right questions. And if the question you're asking isn't getting the right answer, rephrase the question. Maybe you're not presenting it right. If I ask a question, I feel I'm not getting the right answer, and through the conversation, I feel like I didn't get all the information I needed or what I wanted out of the answer from the person I was speaking to. Through the conversation, I'm going to ask the question again, but I'm going to reverbiage it. I'm going to change it so it can maybe make more sense to that person, or maybe I didn't explain it properly. So maybe it's us that's the problem. We got to change the way we verbiage things, the way we explain things. How many times do we explain something to our kids? Does it work every time? No. Sometimes we got to spank them. Sometimes we got to reprimand them. Sometimes we got to ground them, take their phone away to get them to understand something and listen. You do different things to get the result that you want. So if we aren't asking the right questions, how do we get the results that we want? We learn from this, and we learn from our mistakes, and as we do it, we get better. We learn to improve on what we're doing. So where is your passion for what you're doing? How can we find it? Did I always have a passion for painting and what I'm doing? I don't think so. I think at one time it was just a job. And I remember in the beginning, I made a lot of mistakes. I was not good. I remember a job I did back in Chicago when I was living there with a company painting, and we were hanging wallpaper, and a couple of the guys left for lunch, left me to continue hanging wallpaper. Next thing I know, the angle was going the wrong direction. I screwed up $200 worth of wallpaper. And I thought, I'm never doing this again. I quit. This is not what I want to do. What I learned was I have zero passion for hanging wallpaper. I can remove it all day long, but I cannot hang it, don't want to do it. But I realized that taking it down, I was better at it. I wanted to stick with this company. I wanted to continue to paint. I wanted to continue to learn and grow. And I explained that to the guy I was working for. And he said, no problem. We got enough other stuff we can keep you busy. We'll keep training you, keep getting you better, and you can learn and grow from this. You've got to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. What do I want to do in my life? What do I want to do in my job? What can I do well? What can I do good? And what can I do great? I want to stick with the things I'm great with. I want to get better at the things I'm well and good at, but the things that I just don't care about or don't have a passion for, somebody else does. Let them handle that part of the job. We do what we're good at. We do what we have a passion for. And if we can change that and learn, and it doesn't have to be verbally discussed amongst everybody, you can just know in the back of your mind, you have a crew of 5 guys and you know what each person's better or good at, what they enjoy. Put those people on what they're better at and good at, and watch the productivity of that crew increase. You won't believe it. We've seen it time and time again when we sit down with a crew and have a meeting with them and talk about what's working, what's not. What is your passion? Ask your guys working for you, if you're the superintendent, hey, what do you enjoy doing? Do you like brushing? Do you like rolling? Or what do you like spraying better? Find out what their passion is and put them on that. You might have 3 guys working on a crew that you need to brush, roll, spray when it comes to painting, and you've got all 3 on a thing they hate. And if you just switch them out, the productivity on that job is going to increase by 10 to 20%. We've seen it time and time again. So you have to ask the right questions. You have to change how you're doing things. I think sometimes I reference it to we're a bull in a china shop. We just keep pushing forward. No matter what we break or what damage we do, we keep pushing forward. I had a couple of superintendents working for me many, many years ago that they thought I was bipolar. And the reason they said that was because I changed stuff on job sites all the time. And the reason I did that, if I see something's not working, we're going to change it, we're going to fix it, and we're going to find the right way right then and there. Whereas other people will say, well, we'll just keep pushing through, we'll eventually get it done. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is find the way that works. Find the way that's going to give you the best result. And over the years, it's weird how it works out. We keep doing this and we get new people coming on board with this. And well, we used to do it this way, or we did it this way over here. I get that, but this is how we do it. We're going to listen to your idea. We're going to let you know why we're not doing that because of previous experiences. or if it's something we haven't done before and it shows some value, we will possibly try it. There is no idea that's not willing to throw on the table and see if it works. But the thing you have to realize with a company our size, as long as we've been in business, with the amount of skill level, the amount of years of experience that we have amongst all upper management, we know the best process to do this. Now, how do you deal with that when you go on a job and you've got a superintendent for a general contractor telling you, oh, no, we need to do it this way or this way. So you don't want me to be productive on your job. He's going to look at you and say, excuse me? No, I want you to be productive. Okay, but the way you're explaining it to me is not going to be productive. We've been doing this for this many years this way, and I know we're productive at this. So how do you stand your ground in a situation like that? How do you stand your ground when you're dealing with someone telling you to do something that you know is not right on this job site? We have to educate the other trades, the other superintendents, the general contractors. You know, when you have a superintendent on a job site overseeing a job, we're doing something, I think it's called Golf Galaxy. I think it's inside of Dick's Sporting Goods, something like that, I believe, through a general contractor. And we're in the middle of this process, and they're telling us, they're giving us a list. You have to do this, this, and this by such and such a date, and this has to be done first. And it goes out of sequence. That's the most product way to do it. So if it's not the most productive way to do it, but he's telling us to do it this way because of other trades and everything else, how do you deal with that? So basically, we stood our ground, said, no, this is how we do it. This is what has to happen for us to be the most productive, to do it right. So we don't come back to you with change orders and back charges because your other trades are coming in out of sequence and they're going to mess up the walls or mess up what we painted. Are you willing to pay that extra money? Are you willing to back charge the other trades because they screwed up our walls that we just painted or our ceilings? So sometimes it's difficult. You know, they're under a time restraint. They're under a certain way to do it. One thing we did to accommodate this is last 2 weekends, we put guys in there working Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it cost a little bit of overtime, but we're being more productive. We're going to get it done. We're keeping a general contractor on schedule where he needs to be. We're keeping it to where we keep a good schedule. We don't have to beef up the manpower during the week. We were able to make up some ground on the weekends, and it worked out. But we were able to stand our ground on this. And you have to know when to do it that way. How many people out there do residential work? I hate residential. I hate dealing with homeowners. We all own a house or we're homeowners, but there's nothing worse than a homeowner nitpicking your job or telling you how to do it. And Dr. Google will tell you everything. You know, there's so much information out there. It's at our fingertips that everybody's doing their own research before you coming out. They think they know everything about painting and they've never picked up a paintbrush in their life. Or if you're a plumber, they know how to change the toilet bowl ring better than you and they've never done one in their life just because they watched a video on YouTube how to do it. So how do we get these people to understand this? We have to stand our ground when it comes to this. We have to explain to them the reason behind it. And it goes back to asking the right questions. It's all about how you explain it, how you present it to somebody. Your presentation will get you the best results, but it's how you present it and how you explain it to the person. Now, if you've got a homeowner telling you that they know better because they watched a video or they Googled the information, looked it up online, how do you react to that? Oh my God, you're one of those people. Everybody does that. And I've been in this business all these years. What kind of reaction are you going to get back from that person? Probably not very positive. So what I would ask them is, oh, okay, so when's the last time you replaced? Why'd you hire me if you know how to do it? It's all about presentation. It's about how you present yourself and how you throw the question back. I'm going to throw the question back at him and say, oh, how many houses have you painted? Well, I did my last house. Oh, I've done thousands. So over thousands, I've learned how to perfect this and how to do it the right way and get the best result. So you're happy for the next 10 years with the paint job that I give you. So it's all about how you present it to the person with what they're talking about. Presentation's everything. But you got to learn, we as skilled labor or whatever job you're in, we are the professionals at what we do. In order to act professional, we must speak professional. being more professional doesn't mean I come to work in a suit and tie. It has to do with the way I present myself, how I talk, how I explain myself, the verbiage that I use, how I treat people. So I'm going to present myself in a manner when I have a situation with a homeowner, with a general contractor, or superintendent, and I'm going to explain it to where they understand it. And they understand why I'm doing things a certain way that I'm doing. And I hear it all the time from a lot of people that nobody respects my trade. Nobody thinks I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years and everybody thinks they know better than me. How do you explain it to them? That's what you got to start thinking. Rephrase the way you're doing it. If that's the constant feedback that you're getting, maybe you're explaining it back to them the wrong way. Change the verbiage, change your presentation, and stand your ground that you know what you're doing. We are the professionals. Let them see that we're the professionals. Let them understand this. If they paint your house, it would take them a month to do it. If I come and paint your house, I'll be in and out of here in 3 days. You want me to do it your way or my way? Because I'd like to get on to the next job. That's how I'm going to explain something to somebody that's trying to get me to do it their way or they think they know better. There's a reason they hired you in the first place. They really don't know what they're doing. They really can't do it. But the internet and everybody else and all the information out there has them believing that they can because they watched a self-help video. The videos don't work unless you put it into action. I can watch all the videos I want, but if I've never done it, it doesn't matter. You know, I smoked a Thor's hammer on Saturday. Never did one before in my life. I couldn't tell you how to do it. I thought I knew. And I watched about a dozen videos to see how a dozen different people did it. And in the end, I did it, following the videos, kind of used a couple of things from different videos together, smoked my Thor's hammer on a smoker, and it came out phenomenal. Now I can do it. Now I know how I'm going to do it the next time. I'm going to replicate it. Or I might watch a couple more videos and tweak it a little bit, but I'm going to get better as I do it. Just watching a video, just reading how to do something doesn't make you an expert. You have to physically hands-on make it happen until you implement it. What I'm trying to say is grow the grass on your side of the fence. The grass isn't greener on the other side. Focus on you and what you're doing. Focus on your growth, your passion, what you need, what you want out of life. And it doesn't just happen in the workplace. You know, for me, there's a lot of guys that work for me and girls, and just being a mentor and helping them grow in the business, it's more than just that. It's their personal lives. How do I mentor people away from work? Every one of my employees has my cell phone number. And if they don't, I make sure they do have it. I make sure they get it, or I call them once in a while, or I text them. I've sent it out in a group message to every single employee that works for me so they have it. I want them to know that I'm here for them. And I get calls over the weekends, in the evenings from some of my guys. They're in a bad position. They're struggling with something. And just talk to them. Let them know I'm here for them to help them. You know, my mother-in-law was in town for about a week and a half, and we were sitting there, and I got a phone call and answered it on the weekend. And I heard my wife say to her mom, well, he's a marriage counselor now. And it's just somebody called, need help. And I was there to answer it. The one thing I teach a lot of my guys is to have a support system. Have a list of 10 people that you can call when you need something, you need help with anything in life. And my guys and girls that work for me know that I'm there for them. I'm always going to be available. And if I don't answer, leave me a message that you called. Give me a heads up of what's happening so I can call you back right away, or I can wait if I'm in the middle of something. I always get back to them. I always want to be there to help them. I want to watch them grow, not just in the business, not in their position at work, becoming a better painter, a superintendent, or project manager, or estimator, or whatever the case is. I want them to become a better person. That's why we have our book reading that we do. You know, we have a book that we read, and we constantly do it at work. We have a meeting every Tuesday with our upper management. And the assignment is to read either a chapter or 2 chapters. And we have 2 chapters to read out of the book we're currently in. And we'll discuss it tomorrow morning in our Tuesday meeting. And I bring up a couple questions. And the outcome from this is getting to understand my employees better, them to getting to understand each other better. We've stepped up on a different level that we're just not improving just in business, but we're improving our personal lives. It's part of growth. And we're always looking to grow. You know, I'm always looking for new books to read. And I do a little bit of research before we actually bring one in and we start on it, because I want to make sure that it has the impact we're looking for. You know, the first book we started with was John C. Maxwell, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. An amazing book for anybody. Whether you're a leader in your company or whether you're an employee out there and you're trying to move up in position, or even just in your own personal life, this book will make a difference. If you can read this book and take an inner look at yourself and how you're growing as a person or you're growing in your business, this might be the book that helps you find that passion that you need. If you guys are out there and you listen to this every week, or you're just a first time on this podcast listening or watching on YouTube, and you're curious about the list of books that I have that I've read, I'm always willing to share them with you guys. Just reach out to us, shoot us an email or shoot us a message. I will definitely shoot you back a list of the books. I'll give you the last 10 books that I read that have made a difference in my life, that's making me better as a person. These are books that are going to change you. They're going to make you stop and think about yourself. And for some of us, I don't think we read anymore. I remember as a kid growing up, I used to read a book all the time. I went to the library all the time. I don't think we do that anymore. I think our phones and the internet and technology has changed that for us. And we need to get back to reading, even if it's on a tablet, or, you know, do the Audible books. For me, there's certain books that I've read a few times that I've also done an Audible that I want to reread, but I don't have the time. I'm in the middle of 3 different books right now between reading and Audible that are, it's difficult because I don't want to just do one. I want to be in the middle of 3. And sometimes I mix up what I thought I read in one or listened on another, but they're all something that can help me in my current life and help me grow. And I do believe that the certain book that I pick up or I start to read is one that came into my life at the right moment. Everything happens for a reason. And these books just seem to pop up at the right time. And I'm getting people working for me back into reading, and what a difference it's made for us. And you might be out there and say, oh, John, I can't read. I don't do that. Try it. And if you pick up a book and it doesn't work for you, then put it down and go get another book. Find something else. If you're interested in real estate and you're thinking about getting into that, get a book on real estate. If you're thinking about starting your own business, get a book on starting your own business. Pick up a book that's something that's an interest of you or a passion for yourself, and start with that first to get to where you need to be, to a point to where you're now reading a book every chance you get. The growth that I see in this will change your life astronomically. It's changed myself. It's changed the people that work for me. And we're going to continue this. This is something that's never going to change in my company. The bigger we get, the more people we have, the more books I have to buy for that group, for that session of that reading. And I provide the books for the people that work for me. So as we grow, it's going to get expensive, but it's worth every penny for the growth that we're seeing out of this. It's an investment in the people that work for us. It's an investment for the people that work for you as a company. If you are out there as a business owner, I want you to listen to this and think about what I'm talking about. The growth in book reading for your employees. You buy the books. If you've got 10 employees that are in management or superintendents, project managers, estimators, or maybe you only have 10 employees, buy the books for them and tell them, hey, every week we're going to have a meeting. Once a week, 1 chapter a week. That's all I need you to do. I started with 1 chapter a week, and then my employees said, can we do 2? They're the one pushing the envelope now. So now I got to push myself to another level. That's what happens. As we level up, as you push your employees, you feel like you're pulling your employees along all the time, but just wait till they start pushing you. My employees are pushing me to the next level now. It's not me trying to pull them and level them up. They're pushing and I'm moving up. There's no more pull. It's a push now and we're growing. And it's a beautiful thing to watch within the company. You'll watch your numbers change. It just, everything changes within the business as you grow. It's exciting to watch it. So as a business owner, that's one recommendation. I would reach out to each of you and say, start a book reading within your company. Find something that people can grow from. If you're somebody out there and you don't have the opportunity to do that within your company, start with yourself. Just grab a book and start reading. Whether it's just finding one on Amazon and having it delivered, or go to your local bookstore and pick one up. I do both. I've been to the bookstores and picked them up. I do Audible and listen to them. And I also have bought them online and I have them delivered to my house. You've got to find what works for you. And maybe you can't get into the reading part right away. Start with an Audible book. My drive to work every morning is 30 minutes. That Audible's going the whole way. I don't listen to music. Going home, it's hit and miss. Sometimes I'll listen to it. Sometimes I just need some music to wind down on the way home. If my wife's with me and she came to the office, we rode together and we ride home. Typically, I don't put the book on the way home, but I definitely listen in the morning. She enjoys it actually too, listening to it, and we'll talk about it a little bit on the way to work. It's been an interesting conversation between us and growing in this together. So it's been quite the journey. But the one thing I want to leave with you guys today before we sign off here, find your passion. Find something that gives you passion with your work or what you're doing, or find a job that gives you the passion. And pick up a book and start reading. Make that change within yourself. You will see growth within you. It starts with us as a person. I can't make a change in my business or with the people around me till I start with myself. That's where it has to begin. It begins with you. Once again, guys, thanks for joining me. Stay hungry.